You're listening to the PR Wind Down Podcast, the show for public relations professionals who are ready to see real change in the PR industry. We are your hosts, April White and Laura Schooler. Let's get ready to wind down. Hey, Laura, how are you?
Hi, April. Good. How are you?
It's so mousy. It's like so small compared to your normal response. What happened?
I was just meeting you where you were.
Oh, I see. So I was coming across really
I was
like
mimicking
mundane
you.
and lackluster.
I was mimicking your energy.
Oh my God. So funny. Should we kick things off with things I should have been trained on?
Yes, there's a lot of things I should have been trained on.
Today, do you want to talk about what happens or what to do when a pitch falls flat?
I do, because I have a pitch that's sort of been falling flat recently.
Can you tell us without revealing?
Well, I can't really, right. I mean, yeah, I could generally tell you that it's a company that, like all of the companies I work with now, are challenger companies. Have you heard of that term instead of startup?
Yes.
Challenger companies.
Challenger brands.
And this one is like pre funding. Or we haven't announced funding. So we've actually gotten some pretty good meetings, but it's slow and they're not all turning into stories yet. So we're going at it from many different angles, from the business angle, from the thought leadership angle, from the local angle. I mean, really covering the bases. And one of the angles is sort of more of a broad, like business interest, like, interesting entrepreneur sort of story. And nobody is going for it. And we've gone to a bunch of different, beat reporters and trades and national business, etc. Now, it partially might be Vive and HIMSS, the health conferences were going on, and it falls into that category. So a lot of reporters were either there or writing about it or covering for the people who were there. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's not. So the pitch that we're using is, like I said, sort of this is the business, this is the interesting entrepreneur story. And we have like a catchy, subject that would potentially make you say, oh, what's that about?
And do you have stats and things in there too that are like explaining where in the industry they're challenging?
That we have stats and such, about them. And I'm not remembering everything in the pitch, somewhat, but maybe it needs more of that.
I think it needs context. I would say next thing to try would be, where does this challenger brand fit into the greater landscape? What's the full, scope of the potential, either dollar wise, or what could they end up replacing, or what statistics speak to the need for this? It's so weird talking about this hypothetically and not having any details.
No, but I'm sitting here writing it down.
Like, what are the pain points that statistics have revealed that they are addressing through said solution business, etc.
Yeah, we do talk about that kind of thing. And also we have another release that might be coming out soon that may sort of dovetail, that talks about a lot of things that are going on currently with the government, with statistics, etc. So maybe there's a point at when that release goes out that it sort of dovetails, and that's fine. We're doing a lot of things at once to try to, maintain momentum for this company until they're not going to be, announcing funding for months.
Right. The other thing, let's see. I mean, usually I don't recommend, or nobody does, including competitors in a pitch or in coverage, because you don't want to give them ink. However, one exception to that rule, in my opinion, is if you have a challenger brand like that is essentially it's brand new. We had this company called Picnic Tax that we worked with. They were taking on TurboTax. I was like, there's no harm in mentioning that you're taking
Right.
on TurboTax because it's not really a competitor, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
it's like it's a legacy brand that you're challenging.
Right.
So if that company you're working with falls in that same category, that's another option of
So
just
we
coming
may
out and saying, "We're taking on Mastercard and the credit card cartels. We're taking on," and just throw your hat in the ring
Yeah,
really
we
aggressive.
have, I don't know if it was in this pitch, but we have mentioned competitors who are a little bit closer because a lot of the space that they're in is fairly new regardless, right?
Mhm.
So it's not like saying, "Oh, we're taking Coca-Cola on," right? It is another startup that's just further down the road that we have mentioned in other pitches to really try to differentiate. So we have taken that risky road as well. So yeah, we got a really great interview coming out of some of this pitching, but that interview is not happening for like 2 or 3 weeks. So there's a lot of, well, what are we going to do for the next 3 weeks?
Yeah. Have you gotten any negative feedback? Not necessarily negative, but any feedback that's telling you why no?
I got some negative feedback from a reporter who was yelling at me because he said, "You clearly don't read what I write. Don't pitch me."
Oh boy.
Meanwhile, exactly what he wrote was exactly what I was pitching from the oppositional. So I wasn't even saying to him, "Oh, like write your story again." I was like, this is a company that's doing the opposite of what you just wrote about." And he told me to never pitch him again.
Okay.
But the good news was he actually wasn't a reporter, he was a contributor. So
Oh
I'm
good.
not as concerned.
That's good. So yeah, I think in general, when pitches fall flat, some things to look at are what are some, especially in the B2B tech side, like what are some statistics, data, issues, etc., that are already talked about or already
Hmm.
published that you can weave into it to give it context of why it matters.
Hmm.
That's definitely one. I mean, the same would be true in the lifestyle side, right? If there's like a growing trend in new mothers not knowing how often to track certain things, and you've got a baby tracking app and you want to look at, okay, we've got statistics that shows that 90% of new mothers don't know until they get to the hospital about XYZ issue, and
Yeah.
our app solves it, right? That's something that would help.
Yeah.
Oh, is like a very weird but specific example.
No,
um
data, and
but
particularly
data helps.
in the health industry,
Hmm.
which
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
yeah,
And
no,
then
it's so much of it is data driven.
And I sometimes have luck in general also with just where it fits in. Is this one of 5, 10, etc.? I mean, I did a pitch one time for an expensive luxury real estate listing that was bordering a national park. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll do the top 5 most luxurious residences that you can buy
Near a
near a
park.
national
Oh,
park.
wow. So
And
you put
so it was
your own
like,
in there.
yeah, and I put my own in there, and then boom, there it was in Rob Report. So, I mean, I think context, 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 like where does
So
it fit in the
great,
landscape?
because I started to look at a local publication, from the local angle,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Here we go again." Half the stories are funding related, even in a
Mhm.
local publication. However, the other half were all the top 7 of this and the top 9 of that and the top 6 of something else. So now I have to figure out what top lists can I pretend my client is a member of. I have to figure out what list can I make up and put them on it. And I don't know yet. It's a little hard for like a startup, like your Rob Report example. That's like consumery. That to me that seems a
Right.
little easier. This
Unless you do the
company,
top 10 women executives in logistics, or
mm,
and then you weave your female executive into the list.
oh, that's one way. The other way,
Yeah.
there is it. Most health companies, I've learned, are B2B to C. So there is always a sort of a C
Mhm.
to most of it.
Yeah. I think
The
it's
only
just a
problem
matter
is
of,
it's a local thing, so it has to be
I see, I
top
see.
in that area.
Okay, we'll top in the region then. Top best things to do when you're in Williams, Arizona. Cowgirls and Fairies.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, I know.
I can't wait.
What other tips do we want to leave people?
for when, okay, so we can get off of my specific example. Is there anything generally?
I still think context,
Yeah.
landscape, statistics, lists.
Case studies?
Case studies, yep, case studies help a bunch.
I don't think they help as much as I thought they would.
Celebrities, influencers, I mean,
How about the
notable people.
oppositional point of view? What do you think about, like, against the prevailing wisdom?
Oh yeah, anything contrarian usually gets
Yeah,
the attention of
contrarian.
media.
That's the right word.
Yeah, I had a crypto music festival. They were doing blockchain as part of the music festival, and they wanted to take on the 1% of the 1%. I was like, all right, let's just put it in there. And that totally got attention because they were so brazen, right? Like, we're doing this music festival to take on the 1% of the 1% with crypto. Like, yeah.
And then, so what coverage did you get? That was me.
Blockchain coverage. It was more of an interesting crypto story because it was unusual at the time. Now this has been done, but
Right.
at the time it was like, wow, that's crazy.
How long ago?
4 years,
Oh, that is
3
crazy.
years ago, 3.5 years ago, somewhere in there.
3 years and 8.5 months ago?
Something like that. Yeah. To be really precise, I have no idea. But somewhere between 3 and 4 months, 3 and 4 years ago. So yeah, at the time it was like, okay, they're really
Um,
going for it. This wacky idea.
So what if, how about this will be my final question on this.
Mhm.
What if it totally just, you pitched this thing to 40 different people and then 20 others at a different angle and 20 others from a local peer, and you just went all over the place and you're just not getting anywhere?
If you have no's, you're onto something and you can keep going.
Why?
If you
Because
have,
people are actually responding to
yeah,
you?
it's not so bad that they are just
Ignore you?
ignoring it. It's
Right.
like, oh, I can see why that would be okay, but not for me. Then you know that they respect your pitch. If you get radio silence, you have to totally retool or just move on. Somebody has to say no, or you don't have a prayer.
Right. What if you totally changed your tune from a pitch when you realize, oh my God, this pitch, nobody wants to talk, to an op-ed or
Oh,
byline
sure.
article?
But yeah, you could totally, yeah. Either way, you have to retool tactics or
Right.
pitches. But I would say don't keep spinning your wheels if you pitched 100 people and got 0 no's. If you got 1 no out of 100, there's still a
There's
there's
still
still a
hope.
fighting chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah,
Okay.
that's my thought anyway. But I'm sure everyone has their own opinion on that. But that's mine. Shall we put a button on that and move on?
Sure.
Okay. So we have an anonymous PR horror story.
Oh,
Do you
there it is.
Do you want to read it? Do you want me to
Yeah,
read it?
it's short. I'll read it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Here we go. I'll cut to the chase. I have a confession to make.
Ooh.
At my last job, I was an account manager. The firm was cutthroat. My supervisors were iron-fisted, and I was miserable. Under the mounting pressure to perform, the firm was up for acquisition. I asked my junior team members to lie. Yes, it stinks, I know. I had them working probably 5 to 10 more hours per month than they were billing for clients, so I could stay in the green zone on profitability for the accounts that I managed. It's like making me think of insurance fraud or something. But anyway, having moved on now, I'm embarrassed. But after a couple of failed attempts to raise performance versus expectation issues with my big bosses, I gave up and got, quote, crafty and made a bad habit for all of those juniors. Maybe this will clear up my guilt-fueled nightmares. Yours truly, Monster Manager. Monsterager? Manager-ster? Trying to, whoever this was, trying to combine
I
monster
see.
and
I
manager.
see. Making a new word there.
New
Okay,
word.
very, very clever.
So there's no question here, but what's your reaction? Oh, maybe this will clear it. Well, yeah, no real question to us, but a confession, like we're a priest, the high priestesses of PR.
Yeah. Oy vey. I mean, where were they putting the other 5 to 10 hours per month they were working?
Probably just in general, or maybe they were,
Oh, an agency?
yeah, or maybe they were working until 10 and just, saying they were working 8 hours a day instead of,
Not billing it.
10 or 11 hours a day.
It's not great. It's not great because that means if they were just padding it and putting it under trust relations, for example, I know this didn't come
Hmm.
from us, but like if that were the example, then you don't know that you're actually over servicing this client and they're not profitable. You're not making good business decisions about whether to keep them, whether to re-sign them, whether to
Get more
try to push
business.
push them to do, to increase their retainer, right?
Hmm.
So that's tricky because you need to have information to make good business decisions, even if the information is not what you want it to be.
So this person used manipulated for their short-term gain.
Yeah, it's not good. And then you teach the junior staff to do that, and then everyone's hiding hours, and that's not great.
It's interesting though. I haven't worked somewhere recently where anybody really would have gotten mad if the team went over hours. I don't think I would do it because I'd just say, well, what do you want from me? Like the team is either A, overworked because the client's asking for too much, or B, they aren't experienced enough and you've given me an inexperienced team. So
Mhm.
what do you want me to do?
I think it's just better to figure out why you're over servicing the client.
Right. Bill,
Is
I
it
guess
like,
that's what I'm saying. I would have
yeah.
been like, we need to fix one side of this equation. But like I said, I haven't worked recently for anybody who that somebody would have felt that they had to lie about that. So it's interesting to me.
Unless their job performance or raise or something was,
Well, they were saying that the
which is
company
what
was going
they're,
to be acquired, so I guess the acquiring company doesn't want to think that the company their acquiree is bleeding money or not well run or something.
yeah. I mean, in that case, but then you're just making the company look unprofitable instead of you. Like, why are all these junior staff billing 40 hours a month for all agency meetings?
Right.
Or whatever it is.
No, but like I said, I bet it was that like these people were working till 9 o'clock at night and only billing until 6 o'clock at night, right?
Yeah. If it was that, but then that sucks for them. Ugh, I don't know. I mean, don't, just kids don't do it. Like, don't,
It
don't
was
do
never lie. It's
don't
always
do that.
lying
It
doesn't
never really works.
pays off.
It never works in the end. It
No.
can work
And then you have to
temporarily
remember.
until it all comes crashing down.
Well, right, totally.
And then all of a sudden, and the problem with it too is if you fib about something or you lie through omission, and then someone finds out. Like I have a friend who was, how do I say this without revealing any details? This person was doing something against the religion of the couple
Mhm.
without telling the other half of the couple.
Mhm.
And then the other half of the couple found out about the activity that was misaligned with their shared religion.
So-called beliefs, right?
And years later, and that it had been going on for years. And now mind you, just this was not by anyone else's standard a big deal, right? We're it's not dancing, but like it's in that realm, right?
Right.
And so it's not like the world standard will look at this and be horrified, but
Couples what they had
the
gotten
couple,
married
what they
based
had
on.
agreed upon as belief
Right.
structure, it was very frowned upon slash not allowed. So
Was somebody pressing elevator buttons on Friday nights or something?
yeah, let's say it was that. That would be it. Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay.
And so when other half of the couple found out that this was happening, the trust has never been able to recover
Wow.
because then this person
What else are
assumed,
you lying about?
what else are you lying about? Are you cheating? Are you blank? Are you blank? Are you doing this? Are you? And so it hasn't ever really recovered. And this is like years later.
Are they still together?
Yeah.
But like unhappily so?
Yeah.
I think there must be more to it than that, though, but
Oh,
maybe not.
of course. I mean, they're all that's and of course I only have half of the story because
Right.
I'm friends with one half of the couple. But point being, you can lie about something through omission or, fib for
On
so
purpose,
only
right?
for so long. But if it comes to light, then you may never, ever, ever be able to regain your trust with the person that you lied to. So it's not really worth it
And then
unless
you just
unless
look
you have
bad.
no interest in your integrity and or sustaining the relationship.
My, you know how I look so incredibly youthful for my age?
Yes, yeah, you do. And this red lipstick today, wowee.
Um, my joke is that, and I don't really, but maybe I look a little young for my age.
You look young for your age.
But I say it's because I spent, 25 years, like through my whole 20s and 30s and into my 40s, inside in an office building in Midtown Manhattan during entire summers. So like I hadn't seen the sun. That's number one. I never smoked, and I don't lie. And I think the lying has made me not look older.
Yeah, every time you lie, you
Get
get
a new wrinkle.
a new line on your face.
Hmm.
There is something to that though, because it's stressful. Because if you
Right.
lie, then you have to remember what you lied about so that you can retrace your steps, and
Right.
that is
And
exhausting.
maybe you don't sleep as well, and it impacts everything. And then maybe baseball god punishes you with a wrinkle.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe.
That's my theory. That's why kids, you shouldn't lie.
I mean, it totally adds up for me. Okay. On that note, should we talk about ourselves a little bit?
My favorite subject. But I can't help, like, telling my interesting stories.
You do have interesting stories.
I think they're
What's a girl
interesting,
to
but
do? Well, then let's make this your chance to just yak
I
about
know. Well,
yourself.
that's
So this is
why
gonna be
that's
great.
one of the reasons why I do this podcast.
So hilarious. Okay. So for today's news of the week, we are
Hmm.
discussing us. And gonna get into what's new in our worlds, our business adventures, anything else that we want to update people on.
Well,
So,
I'm thinking of it as like our side hustle. This is our side hustle
okay. That's a
episode.
okay, I like it. So this is yeah. So
Right. And
welcome to April and Laura's side hustles.
right. And so the reason why I thought of it is because you have an amazing side hustle, and I don't know how the hell you did it. Like with everything else that you do and been going on in your life and whatever.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous, but I think you would probably agree that if you were in New York, you couldn't have done it.
no way.
Right.
No
So
chance.
I have had the
Mm-mm.
same side hustle dream that you have fulfilled.
Really?
I have, but I can't do it. I can't do it here.
I never knew that.
Yeah, well, I even have a what's it called? Pinterest, like a Pinterest page from years ago that I was building, and this
So
would have
move
been
here.
the actual store. I don't know if it would go over
Okay,
my
so let's hear about your dream
well,
side
no, well,
hustle.
let's hear about your actual store before we talk about my like not actual store.
All right.
so just want to tell everybody that April has opened a store. Like she's owns a PR firm and has all these clients and all these workers, and it's very stressful and very time consuming. And all of a sudden she opened a store, like a physical store in the middle of all of this.
Completely unrelated.
And so, yes, not about PR, but she's gotten some good PR I've seen locally. So tell us about your store, what it's called, why you did it, what you sell, what the mission is, all of that.
Okay. So I opened a store on Route 66 in Williams, Arizona, which is for all intents and purposes, the closest city to the south rim of the Grand Canyon, called Cowgirls and Fairies. And it is this tiny, cute little boutique that has a lot of whimsical kind of clothes, some really high end designer stuff, things that are a little bit more accessible also, because I don't want it to be so exclusive that not everybody can shop here. I've got some purses, some like cowgirl hats, some
Can we
cute
see what you
boots.
have? I see a couple
Yeah.
things behind you.
So here's some purses.
And
Here.
how are you procuring this stuff? Is this new? Is it vintage?
So no, it's new. a couple of the things that are designer are pre-owned, but only a couple like pieces of jewelry that are still expensive pre-owned because they're like
What
Hermes
they're made of, right?
or like
Oh,
Prada
right,
or
the
whatever,
brands,
right?
right?
Like because
Yes,
the brands are
they're
really
Tiffany or
expensive.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, I do have a couple. Like I have this adorable. Look at this little cuff that's purple. Isn't this cute?
How so? Are you wholesaling it? How are you getting? I have so many questions. We don't have enough time.
So I don't want to give all my secrets away, but
Right.
so for example, I went to a crystal show down in Clarkdale and I got crystals wholesale. There's a thing online called Fairy where small business owners can buy from other small businesses to basically get wholesale prices and then mark up. So, for example, I have little flower smudge sticks. How cute are these?
Yeah.
So cute.
So you
So,
can smudge your house or
yep.
whatever.
But the wholesale stuff, yeah, I have some candles also that came from Fairy and some really cute hats that are kind of like, let me grab one that you'll like. Hold on. Okay, I'll be right back. I should have been
Mhm.
better prepared for this with props like you always are. So I've got Cruising for Cowboys,
Oh my. That's very Thelma and Louise.
right? I've got If Karma Doesn't Smack You, I Will. I've got So Apparently I Have an Attitude. And Caution, I Have No Filter. So that kind of stuff, right? There's another one on that says, "You don't scare me, I have kids," and "Free hugs, just kidding, don't touch me."
Okay.
Works out well.
Are there other stores around you? Is it a
So,
freestanding or what?
so over here is a spa that does like nails, hair, etc. And over here is a coffee shop called Brood Awakenings. And it's really cute. And then across the street is a Mexican place, and I mean it's in downtown Williams, right? So it's definitely like the walky part of
Right.
Williams, but I'm a little tiny segment of a bigger building that has a flooring company for whatever reason, and then the spa.
Okay, so now let's get to your
Why the hell I did
mission.
this?
Why did you do it and what is the mission?
Okay, so for a couple of reasons. So the other side hustle I have is as a musician, which Laura knows, and I have a musical project slash band called Violet in the Sun. And I had this idea after going to Pussifer in Jerome, which you may have heard of, Laura, because you probably like Maynard from Tool.
I vaguely know. I have a friend who's a giant
Okay,
Tool fan.
okay. So he has this store called Pussifer in Jerome that's a record store, barber shop, gift shop, super strange, like everything Maynard that he likes, and he's put it all in one little spot, and it's just the coolest store. And I
Right.
thought that is brilliant for a musician to have an in person store, physical location that embodies their brand that people can go visit and like interact with the brand. So the store, as you see over here,
Yeah.
has Violet in the Sun.
Oh, how did you got that made, obviously?
Yes, I had that made. I made the weird ceiling art installation.
Is that the same stuff you have in your barn? Your barn house?
Yeah, yeah, but it's no longer in my house. It was a
Okay.
proof of concept that's lived in my barn house, also known as a cabin, a log cabin, until it lived here. But this took, an ungodly number of the things that were in the house. Anyway, so I created a space that I feel like embodies the Violet and the Sun music, and
Mhm.
I'm selling the music, and then the music's playing in the store, and so you can interact with me, the artist, and the brand of Violet and the Sun through the experience of Cowgirls and Fairies. But I felt like naming the store Violet and the Sun would be too confusing
Mhm.
because then it's Violet and the Sun. On top of that, I've got an album Violet and the Sun that has a song Violet and the Sun. I was like, okay, we
Enough with
yeah,
the violet and the
like
sun.
it's Malkovich. Like it's too many. So it's like the store needs to have its own because it is its own thing, right?
Right.
It's a store, but it sells Violet in the Sun. So what's interesting is that because that is a very ambitious slash slightly insane marketing tactic for music, it
Mhm.
has gotten a lot of press because people are like, she's doing what? Like,
In this day and age?
she's got a musician that has a store to embody the music. Okay. So Yeah,
Well,
I
it's very
actually
Jack. It's Jack White.
what why do you why
Third
do you
third
say?
with Third Man Records. So you have a
You know,
cash register, or I mean, are
so I
people just
have
paying
so I have
Square?
this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have a little cash box, for in case people actually pay with real money.
cash.
Yeah, real cash.
How?
Yeah, so I have that, and then I had people like my cousin made these cards that are really cute that she sent for me to sell that are like handmade, these little
Oh,
like it's
oh
a
my
pin
God!
and little yeah, they're very ornate.
Wow.
And then since I got some press, I have one friend that's selling her local jewelry. She does this cool like I'll show you, it's so cool. This like copper forged stuff. So she's got like cactuses and crosses.
Is it
Aren't these
cacti?
aren't these
Those
cute?
are earrings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Aren't they cute? So she has stuff like that, and then a couple other jewelry makers,
Jewelers,
jewelers. That's the word. I was like jewelry
jewelry
makers,
designers.
like shoemakers. A couple other jewelers. They have also contacted me about bringing in their stuff. So, and I have another friend who's also my pet sitter that is thinking of bringing in some like glitter dominoes that she makes. They're
Oh.
so cute. So, yeah, so I've had some local people bring me stuff too, and then it's on commission and that helps. So I have a few pieces of
Mhm.
clothing that people have made. At some
So
point need to
people are
back it
coming
down
in
a
and
few.
buying stuff. I mean, you just opened.
My first sale was a bar of soap.
Oh, I wish I was a little bar soap. Oh, I wish I was a
It was
little
so
bar soap.
cute. It
That's
was so
funny.
cute. Yeah, this girl came in and she really wanted something. She's in college and she clearly was just on a really tight budget.
Right.
So she kept looking around and picking up things like she picked up some lip gloss and looked at it and like put it down and I have some really cute Young Living lip balm from the Young Living famous for the essential oils. Anyway, and then she came back and she's like, "I'm just going to get this." She had this bar of soap. It was so
Your first sale.
yeah, she wanted to pay through Apple Pay, and it was funny because I hadn't done that before, and I was, like, a little bit panicked. I was like, "Oh, how do I do Apple Pay?"
I mean, there's a lot to do, but
Yeah, but
so
I
you
did it,
pay.
and I was fine, and I gave her her cute little bag, which I have sitting here with the little stamps. Look, and I stamped all these bags myself. Isn't this insane? How cute is this, though?
I know, it's great.
Yeah, so it's been really fun. Basically, how the hell did I do it? I did it by not having any weekends for about 5 weeks and working 10 to 12 hours each day on the weekend, and then getting friends to help. My friend Erin came and helped me decorate, and I also paid my trainer to come help me assemble furniture because all the infrastructure had to be built right.
Right.
And then luckily I know how to put together furniture. It would have been really difficult to do this. And then I basically, yeah, I just busted butt and didn't get a lot of sleep, and sometimes if I didn't have to work late at night, I would come here and work instead. So and then just every time I thought of something I needed to buy, I just did it and then had it shipped. So I had to go to the waste transfer station in Flagstaff a bunch and take recycled boxes because I was getting all this stuff shipped and it was just like piles and piles of boxes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really happy with it. It's really cute. Here, let me do like I can spin you all the way around. I'll
You
show you.
can a
Yeah.
360
Are you able to see this
because
star?
the sun's coming and it's a little dark, but
Oh
yes.
shoot. Okay. And then I have some cute like jewelry down here. Can you see?
Yeah, I can see that.
And then in these cabinets over here are things like well, this is the jewelry case, which you can't really see much.
Right.
And then in this case here, on both sides, I have
Uh-huh.
books that have changed my life and some journals and some cute things like I have a Lego cup.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
So it's like for kids of all ages. And so stuff like that. And then I have some bath bombs that look like they're treats. So I put them in little cupcakes.
Oh my God.
They're really cute. Some more candles, essential oils, some herbs in case you want to take some cordyceps to boost your energy levels or some peaceful spirit to calm you down.
Jeez.
And
I
then,
mean,
and then one more thing. I have craft soda from Utah called Taproot Soda. This is my favorite flavor. It's lemon, lime, lavender. I had to special order it, and then I had to drive to Phoenix to pick it up.
How much did you get?
I got I got 8 cases.
Oh, wow. You got a lot.
I have 3 refrigerators at home, don't ask. So, it's fine. Like, they can go in the fridge. Yeah, so this is my crazy venture, and then I'm just enjoying, like, being here on the weekends and working at my cute little store that smells like essential oils and the candles that I'm selling, and I burn a candle for, ambiance, and it's, like, nice and quiet except for when people come in, and then it's fun because I have somebody to talk to.
Right. Jeez.
What do you think?
Well, that is quite the side hustle. I mean, that's like not a side hustle as much as like you have 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah, ish. And then I will hire somebody to work here. I just want to see how people are responding, what they're buying, what they're asking for. Yeah.
Well, my side hustle is this, doing this podcast. Um, it's one of them.
I
And
like
then
it.
my other side hustle that I started before the pandemic is and something that I had never ever imagined I would ever do is I started selling like jewelry and clothes and stuff to what do you call it? You got to pay
A
the
pawn shop?
yeah, I've gone to pawn shops. I've gone to vintage stores. And so I've been doing that for a couple of years. And this weekend, I've got like, I'm down to like things that are nice, but not as sellable, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
Because they're not, well, first of all, selling gold and stuff is kind of easy to do. But I was going to a couple of places to get the best deal and all of that. And some of the jewelry I ended up actually getting sized so that I could wear it. Some of it I just sold. And then clothes, I found this great store in New Jersey near where my dad lives, where he has bought in a couple of installments these amazing clothes that my mother used to wear that are like one of a kind sort of pieces. And all of her clothes are in like impeccable condition. So he bought a lot of stuff. So now I have pretty much gotten rid of all of the jewelry that I'm, going to get rid of for now. And clothes. I usually donate clothes, but like I said, these things were like one of a kind. But
Nice.
there's some things that I still am holding on to. Like there's a Gucci purse from 1973.
Oh, yeah, keep that.
Right. So a couple of things like that. But now I have basically your normal clothes. They're not super old. They're from like the 90s and 2000s. But they're in perfect condition because she put everything in its like own hanging laundry bag. So I've kept some things for myself, but now I'm down to things from the winter and the spring, but now it's coming into spring and summer. So this weekend I'm going back out to a couple places in the city to see what I can sell. I'm gonna have to divide and conquer seasonally,
Mm.
which I haven't had to do yet because prior when I was selling these like kind of one of a kind things, they were like, you could wear them whenever because they were kind of outrageous. Like this dress with like huge ribbons hanging down and like this other thing from Mexico with like a hand, crocheted thing with beads on it and things like that people will buy any time of the year, but nobody wants to buy the Banana Republic sweaters, heading into the spring and summer. A lot of things, it's not trendy stuff and it's not like super young stuff, which is probably most younger people buy, like secondhand clothes. So we'll see how it goes. But I kind of like it, sort of fun. It's my other side hustle.
So wait, I want to hear about the store you would do.
Oh, the store I would have done.
Yeah.
So, it's along my baseball. And the thing is, from when I thought of it to now, some stores have come up that aren't exactly what I would do, but have kind of stolen my name, like Sweaty Betty. It
Oh,
wasn't in the
okay.
US, I don't think, at least. So it's my Bullpen Betty.
Right.
And
Do you have
it's
that
like,
URL just in case?
oh, I have Bullpen Betty URL.
Oh,
Yes.
good, good. Okay.
Yes. But the store, it's along the line of who Bullpen Betty would be if the cartoon character was real and not me, but it sort of is me.
Okay.
Like the jock rock chick.
So the store would be all baseball paraphernalia?
Some baseball stuff, but more athleisure wear, but it's a little edgier, which I'm telling you didn't really exist Fight It in a Minute.
I know what you're talking about. I like that, like edgy athlete. I used to have a little, it was like for the gym, but it was sort of didn't make any sense that you would actually have to have it. It was like a crop top, short sleeve jacket with holes in it. And
Right.
you
So I
didn't
just
really
put it in the
need, okay, I
chat.
can't wait to see this.
I haven't updated it. I haven't been doing it for, a couple of years. But this is the store
Oh,
that
this
I
stuff is
would
cute.
have opened,
Oh, this is so you.
right. But you can't do it in New York.
No, it's too expensive. Where would this fly? LA for sure.
Well, right, but you can't do
LA is too expensive. Let me keep thinking. Hold on. These shoes are so cute. These bowling shoes.
yeah. I
Oh,
have
that's
yeah,
so
so
cute.
there's some baseball stuff in
Um,
here, but this is all old. This stuff's probably not even for sale anymore.
I love it. Somewhere in Colorado or Texas, you could pull it off.
I worked in my friend's boutique, but she's a clothing designer for a year or so. So I had a full-time job and then I'd work there on weekends. And she's moved around the city a lot. She was in the East Village and then she was in the West Village and she was in Brooklyn and then back in the East Village. I haven't been down there for a little while. She's been jumping partially because of rents. I'm like, where can you
Right.
get the better rent?
Yeah,
Partially, I wouldn't say entirely. But, it's hard to be those stores. A lot of those stores also through the pandemic, those designers had opened, 3 and 4 stores, and now they're back down to 1 or 2.
that makes sense. I mean, I feel like you can pull it off, but I mean, you can't do it in New York.
Yeah, but I'd have to do it full time. I just don't think you can.
I mean, you can pay somebody to work there.
Well, when I worked at my friend's store, she paid me by the hour with a small
Oh,
commission.
really? Okay.
Yeah, she did. But I had a full-time job, so it wasn't my living.
Yeah.
I was doing it because I wanted to.
Yeah.
I had never worked in retail before. It was fun. It was a crazy time of my life that I needed to just like always be occupied, all the time.
Mhm.
And it totally helped me. And the money was cool because it would like paid for my lunch that week or whatever. But that wasn't why I was doing it. But I'm looking at some of these roller derby socks I actually ended up buying for myself.
Adorable.
The
No, this stuff
zombie
is cute.
the zombie flesh and bones roller derby socks where the bones are sticking out of this and
So
the
funny.
spiders. Yeah, I have those.
I like the camo Nikes. Those are cool.
Yeah, all this stuff is old though. This is like somebody who looked at this now who's like really cool would be like, oh my God, this is so like 5 years ago.
That's all right. I mean, you would find new stuff. Were you really serious about doing it, or it was just more like a fantasy project?
It was a fantasy project, but I had a friend who said, if you put it out there, the universe will realign to help you fulfill your dreams.
I mean, you still could,
Yeah. Well, one day
or
maybe.
move and do it somewhere cheaper.
There's a
So
rockabilly clothing store on the boardwalk in Asbury Park. Now,
maybe, so that could work
and
if
she
you have enough
closes for a few months
tourists.
during the winter because nobody's walking on the boardwalk in
Sure.
January or whatever.
Hmm.
And she does other things. She puts on shows and things like that. And then there's some other cool clothing stores downtown in Asbury.
What about like Coney Island or Bushwick? Or I mean, Bushwick is up and coming now, but is there a new Bushwick that
I
I find
know.
when I
I
went
feel
to
like
parties
anywhere
out
in
there?
Brooklyn is just too
Too cool
expensive.
now.
And yeah,
What about
yeah.
in Queens? What about like the new Astoria or the new
I don't know what that is. I'm not cool. Sunnyside? I don't
maybe
know. Not cool enough to know anymore,
you
but
might be able to pull it off in Sunnyside
right.
or go to the Bronx. Yeah,
Actually, with these,
or Harlem-ish, but Harlem is now gentrified to the point where it's like
yeah, there's
insane.
some.
What's
I
the
gotta
new
go check
Harlem?
it out. East Harlem. There's some stores up there. I have to go check it out now that it's starting to not be 8
You know,
degrees
there's a
outside.
really cute, it reminds me a tiny bit. There was like a very urban hip hop male focused boutique down in Phoenix I just went to. That was really, really cool. Like,
Really,
yeah, but you could pull it off. Sounds like a fun retirement project.
I'm not that old.
I know.
I have come up with a new tactic, which I never, ever, ever entertained. And then I know we have to go. I'm willing to entertain marrying a rich man. I
Willing
mean, I fought
to
it my
entertain, I mean,
whole life. I've never gone out with a rich
maybe
guy. I never wanted, whatever.
that's
Fine.
funny. Okay.
And I'll end on that.
I- that's quite a way to go out. All right, on that on that note, thank you so much for tuning in for the PR Wind Down podcast.
And thank you to me and April for such an entertaining interview.
Best ever. Remember to submit your own agency stories and questions and to share our show with your friends and colleagues. And if you subscribe and leave us a rating, it will help us reach new listeners like you.
And if you have an anonymous PR horror story of your own, send it our way at the contact email below the episode notes.
Can't wait to wind down with you again next time.
Get your kicks on Route 66. You're so good at singing.